What's going on, people? Welcome back to Onlyfacts Sports. You already know what it is, Onlyfacts Sports Podcast. We still don't really have a name for the show, but it's the Onlyfacts Sports Podcast.
That's the name of it, bro.
Onlyfacts Sports Podcast. There you go. Do you know what I'm saying? Onlyfacts, bro. Episode 8. Certain man are snacking. Do you know what I'm saying? Snacky Chan over here.
What you have to understand is, slaves only got 1 day, what was it? Like 1 time a day that
you took too long to land the point. The point is, we're here. After a very disappointing weekend of boxing.
Not for you lot. You lot had a lot of, what's it called? Content over the weekend.
Thank you for everybody that's been there and just, helped us suffer through the pain. We streamed 3 days back to back in the small hours, in the early hours of the morning. Weird weekend of boxing. We're going to talk about everything boxing, football, but there's really only one place to start.
No. What we need to do, we literally need to check on Nick's in good spirits. But in fact, Nick, how are you? How are you doing, Maggie? How are you? Because you know what, yeah? It is so funny. Because I was thinking to myself, I wonder how Nick's going to be today. And I watched AFTV and there was no Yardman on it. So I was like, the only person I could really expect to get really angry and aggressive was Lee Judges. And he was quite calm. And I thought to myself, is this where Arsenal have got to? Where they've just got kicked out of a semi-final of the Champions League. They have no trophy for a season, for a 4th consecutive season or 5th consecutive season without a trophy. And no one's even angry. You are just happy. No one's even like, there's no anger, there's no aggression. This guy's laughing. This just tells you that the standards that Arsenal have as a club is on the floor. Because no one's even angry. Why is there no one upset? Why is there no outrage? Why is there no outrage? Remember a Prime AFTV, yeah? That used to be outrage every week. Where's the outrage gone? You lost ambition.
What this tells you is my life is lit in a nice apartment, Chris Gial. You know what I'm saying? Is what it is, man.
No. I'm not talking about Arsenal as a community. I'm talking about Arsenal as a community.
The thing is, obviously, we were 1-0 down against PSG. So it wasn't like a mountain to climb, but we weren't the favourites going into that second game. So I think that there was maybe a bit of a lack of belief. But it's another trophyless season. For me, Arteta's got 1 year left. He's got 1 year left because what we had before was a first-time manager with a first-time director of football. We've got Berta in, come from Atletico Madrid, whatever. So I want to see what we do this summer, and no matter what, next year is next year. No matter the circumstances, no matter the injuries, no matter if an earthquake happens, COVID-19, no matter what happens, it's got to be Arteta's last year.
So what we're saying, next year is a season finale. Because remember Patrice Evra famously coined Arsenal as Netflix FC because you are always waiting for next season.
Patrice Evra licks raw chickens, innit? So he's not a man that I don't like. I don't listen to what he says.
I'm just asking. You know what
I'm saying?
He does have a point though. He actually does.
Unless you're Man City or Liverpool, everyone talks about next year.
No, we don't.
You might talk about next year.
Bro, no, we don't. We're not talking about next year right now, are we? We're talking about going into the Europa League Final and winning it. That's what we're talking about. Like I said 3 weeks ago, we're talking about going into the next. This is the thing. Last year we won a trophy. The season before that we won a trophy, and this year we will win a trophy. That's 3 consecutive seasons of trophy winning. So we don't talk about next season.
Fair enough.
We don't talk about it. There's heritage out here, bro.
Heritage.
Put some respect on our name.
Even at our worst. You spent the most on players. And you've got the highest wage bill to win Carabao Cups, and you're talking about heritage, but that's fine.
Even at our worst, we live like our best, innit? Did you not spend 100 million? When was the last?
Our net spend in the summer was 17 million.
Did you not spend 100 million on rice?
That was last year.
But did you spend 100 million on rice?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you spent big money as well. I think Arteta spent 750 million.
Not like United, but anyway, it's another trophyless season for Arsenal. It's an L, innit? It's a major L. Do you know what I'm saying? Because obviously it's the top trophy. We were going for the top trophy. That's all that man can really say, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? We were going for the top trophy and we failed, innit? We failed. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. And we left the first half. I thought we played well. I thought the first half we played really well. But again, where the debate is amongst Arsenal fans, some saying Arteta's got to go now. Some saying Arteta's got to go. Arteta's got 1 more year, and it comes down to one thing. Really. Hold on. And it comes down to one thing, yeah. the signings, obviously we all act like we know what happens in our football clubs, but in reality we don't, innit? But the signings, are the signings down to Arteta or are the signings down to Edu? Do you know what I'm saying? Because the lack of a strike, we created a lot of great chances in that first half and we just do not have a goal scorer. It's been the story of our whole season. Our whole season, creating chances, no goal scorer.
But that's just the story of season last season. You lot were supposed to get a striker last season.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
I agree.
What's the confidence that's going to make you lot get a striker this season?
That's what I'm saying. With Berta, if we're going to get a proper good sporting director that's world-renowned sporting director being from one of the top clubs, you would expect to see a change in... Before when you got Edu, it's like, bro, he's a yes man, innit? He's a little man. He's not done the job before. You feel like the board can bowl him over. Maybe even Arteta can bowl him over a little bit. Like, whereas Berta coming in, you would hope that there's someone to hold Arteta accountable and there's someone that can...
Can I ask a question?
That's gonna push the club forwards. Do you know what I'm saying?
Question. Why do you say you wouldn't get Ancelotti in the summer? He's leaving Real Madrid. Why would you not get Ancelotti? You don't always say, who should we get next? I always say, get rid of Arteta. Who's there? Who is there? Who is there? There's Ancelotti. Would you not?
Ancelotti could potentially come in and maybe win a trophy, but it's what we disrupt for what we gain. We're going to gain a lot of experience and then potentially disrupt the team. I don't know. Does Ancelotti immediately come in with this team? We don't know what the summer's going to look like. The summer is obviously built around Arteta's. I don't want to keep using the word project because 6 years is not a project anymore. But the summer signings, the whole plan is built around Arteta and his vision. So does changing the manager, although he brings in a lot of experience for the trajectory that we're on, may set us backwards.
But the issue that you have is in a year's time there might not be another adequate manager.
Potentially not. We'll have to see.
In the last 3 years, Slot was a gamble. Let's keep it real. Slot was he was actually a gamble. When United got Ten Hag, you remember there was a lot of people talking about Ten Hag and how highly rated he was.
He was the next guy, yeah.
He was the next guy. He failed. You know what I'm saying? So Ancelotti is a proven guy. He's proven.
Why didn't you not go for Ancelotti then?
Huh?
Why didn't you not go for Ancelotti?
Ancelotti wasn't available.
If you sacked Ruben Amorim,
I would go and get Ancelotti.
Fair enough.
I would go and get Ancelotti. If we sack Ruben Amorim this summer,
yeah,
which I don't see why we would.
I don't think you would, but hypothetically,
I would go and get Ancelotti.
Fair enough.
Because the truth is, like, I anticipate that we're going to be playing Champions League football next season.
The season after next.
No, next season.
Oh, next season, because
we're going to win the Europa League. I've told you we're going to win it. So
yeah.
I anticipate we're going to win it. We're going to be playing Champions League football next season.
Yeah.
We're not going to win the league. So like this season, we pretty much sacrificed the league and finished 15th. I would have no problem sacrificing the league again. Obviously not finishing 15th, but not going for the league and trying to win another trophy.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. But I'm just saying, in your instance, you're looking at it from like, I get you, because Arteta's done a lot to build the team to where it is now. But for me, at this stage, you're looking at Saka, you're looking at Martinelli, you're looking at Odegaard, you're looking at Rice. These players are they're no longer youngsters. They're probably at their peak now.
Yeah.
It's now to maximize them. You know what I'm saying? It's like when England had Southgate, people are like, at least you got us to a final, at least you got us to semi-final, but this is a world-class team.
Yeah.
Your team, one thing
we have one or two signings. We're 1 or 2 signings away. And obviously we have 2 players in our team that are our strikers. They're both injured. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality. The reality is Gabby Jesus and Havertz are our strikers. They're both injured.
Can I ask you though, why? I don't think, and this is just me being honest, I don't think, I feel like there's more of a psychological issue than a personnel issue at Arsenal. I don't necessarily feel like it's a personnel issue.
I think that I think that that's partly true, but the personnel definitely play a part. Listen. We went to the Bernabeu. We played them off the park. We beat them at our ground as well. That's a big psychological hurdle for us to jump. Yeah.
No,
we
but
play
look
PSG.
at how you
Hold on.
PSG.
We play PSG. I know XG is a meaningless stat, but we've got higher XG than PSG did. Yeah. Obviously they beat us 2-1. Saka had Mendy on toast, putting balls into the box, and no one can get on the end of it. So yes, there may be a psychological issue.
He also missed the open goal.
He did. Yes, there's
I don't see any Arsenal. You see, when I have to just say this, sorry to cut you off. The moment he missed that open goal, I just instantly didn't want to be black. Because I know, you know what happens, bro? When Saka does anything wrong, it's always monkey emoji.
No, not from our fans. For England, not from our fans. Our fans are mostly black.
Nah, no, not
That's a totally different thing.
bro. Don't act like when he missed that penalty against Real Madrid, you weren't thinking, damn, I really don't want to be black right now.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't thinking that?
No.
Bro.
Our fans. Do you know how much our fans love Saka? Our fans might love Saka too much. If you gave them the choice between winning the Champions League and getting rid of Saka, do you know what I mean? They might stick with Saka and not win that. And like, do you mean our fan base love it?
Here's the thing, though. This is my thing.
We the least racist fan base.
Your world class players, other than Saka, didn't show up.
Hold on. Let me land my point. The point is, we created a lot of chances, and if we had even a median striker, not necessarily a Gyökeres or a Šeško and all the rest of it, if we just had an Ivan Toney, if we just had an Ollie Watkins, if we just had some form of striker.
I don't believe that, bro.
If we had some...
I don't believe that.
That's what I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't believe that.
But I'm watching our team create chances in the box, and there's no one there
And you know why I don't
at the
believe
near
that?
post to get on the end of it.
You know why I don't believe that? I'll tell you why I don't believe that.
Go on.
Yeah, is because when you lot signed Gabby Jesus, yeah, at the time you'd probably say he's better than Watkins. At that time, you probably would have said
yeah.
You probably would have said he's better than Watkins.
Yeah.
My issue is, why I say it's not a personal issue and it's a psychological issue. Your best player, when it mattered, missed the open goal. That is not a personnel issue. He crumbled, bro. That is a psychological issue.
I don't think that he had a good game.
Bro, he missed the open goal, bro.
Yeah, but across the game's 90 minutes. But what are you talking about? The game's 90 minutes.
Bro, we're talking about clutch.
Did he have a good game or not?
Not good enough. Because he missed the open goal, bro.
You're being silly.
Bro,
You're being silly.
Bro, he missed the open goal.
I understand what you're saying.
So,
I understand, bro. It's both, bro. You're trying to drill down into one particular issue. The reason that we're not winning the big trophies could be multiple issues.
No, it's small margins, bro.
And one of the margins, we don't have a striker. We're going out there with no striker, bro.
You could get a person and bring in a striker who is at the same level as Saka, but when it comes down to it, he crumbles.
Yeah,
he missed the penalty.
Bro, you're
the penalty against Real Madrid, bro.
You're saying we might. But that's not guaranteed. We might, or he might score, and then we're in the final.
But no, it's not. But he's not scoring because you're not scoring. When it matters, what players are stepping up for you? Rice did it.
Saka scored,
bro. He needed to score that goal and he missed the open goal.
But he scored. He scored.
1 second. He needed to score a penalty against.
He didn't need to score a penalty against Real Madrid.
Well, he should have scored a penalty.
Yeah, cool. Did he need to?
1 second.
Right, cool.
Odegaard had a penalty against us in the FA Cup to win the game and he missed it. So your best players are flopping when it matters.
Odegaard, I agree with. Saka, I'm 50-50. Bro, Saka played very well against. He played very well against both games against Real Madrid, and he played well against PSG.
He played well against PSG, but my issue is it's an issue with
bro, if you want to say the team has psychological issues, that's fine. But you can't say if you put a top striker in this team and they score 10, 15 goals more, if they score 5 goals across this Champions League campaign, that's the difference between us being in the final and us not. Regardless of the psychology of the rest of the team.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
I genuinely don't believe that. If we scored 2 against PSG, we're in the final. That's a fact. That's a mathematical fact.
He would have to have psychological character. And I don't believe when you put on that Arsenal shirt, you have character. Okay. I think there's it's like Spurs. I feel like the moment you put on an Arsenal shirt, there's that... Instantly, you just turn into an inferior individual.
The thing is, if that's what you feel, that's fine. But what we need to do is sign the striker and then see. You can come and sit back here on this podcast or on this sofa when we've signed the offer. Hold on. When we sign the striker and then they don't do it and it flops, then you can come to me and be like, haha, there you go, I told you. But we have to do it and then see.
Do you not feel like you lot should be focusing on the psychological deficiencies in your team as a priority instead of a striker?
What do you mean, you lot? I'm a fan of the club. All I can do is support the club. I can't give the players therapy.
If there's a list of items on the agenda, for me, the psychological fragilities of your team would be on the highest priority list.
The thing is, the team showed good psychology against Real Madrid, but they stepped up. I think that the psychological thing, I think that's an element, but I think you can overdo it because the criticism we got before when we posted the videos on Twitter, when Arsenal posted videos on Twitter about the game and how big a game it was and whatever, some of the criticism we got from rival fans like Man United and Liverpool fans who have won Champions Leagues in the past is you man are over-egging it and you're putting pressure on your players, by kind of over-gassing how big the game is. So you can go both ways with it.
You can do it if your players are mentally strong enough. At the end of the day, we know Rice was one person we would consider mentally strong. We would have thought, look at Partey. Ignorance made him get suspended for the fact. You know what I'm saying? That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's if you look back at the seasons that we've seen at Arsenal, the season where you were supposed to finish fourth and Spurs picked you for fourth, the season where you were top for 90% of the season where you were top at January, but then you let Man City overtake you.
Like I say,
this season, City dropped off, but you weren't there to take over.
Football is a complicated sport, yeah. So I understand what you're saying about the psychological thing, but you can't just discount players. You can't discount the fact that the reality
there is no
we're going into a game.
Reason
we're going into a
for
game.
Why United have won 3 trophies in the last 3 years and you haven't won one.
I agree with you. But
that's psychological, bro.
I agree, bro. You keep fucking saying this. I agreed with you. I said yes. What the fuck are you talking about? I said yeah. I agree with you, but you can't take away the fact that there's a player issue there as well, and we're going.
I don't think so.
But then that's ridiculous.
I don't think so.
That's ridiculous. Who's beating PSG across 180 minutes with no striker? Who's doing that?
But you're just seeing it as a PSG game, bro. I'm just talking about you lot as a team.
I understand, but we're talking. Today's the podcast, and yesterday we lost to PSG. So that's the most recent situation.
Striker is the easiest thing to say because you don't. It means you don't blame your players. The players that you had on the pitch.
I blame our players because Marino was playing striker and he didn't score. Marino should be there.
Blame Saka for missing the open goal.
Like 3 or 4 chances.
He missed the open goal.
Bro, come on, bro. He's
blame him.
I hold him partly responsible, but he scored the only goal that we scored against PSG. He scored it.
Yeah.
And then then obviously, let's say he scored the open goal. Okay, he missed it. He should have scored that as well. Plus, he's got to be the person we're expecting him. That means we're relying solely on Saka to get 2 goals and the assist for somebody that would have been the striker. Bro, what are we doing here? The best chances came from Saka's side.
Facts.
So we're looking at Saka and saying 1 goal isn't good enough. You need 2 goals and assists. Or it's mental deficiency.
It's a tap-in.
If he scored the tap-in, we'd be out.
We'd have been 2-2 with 10 minutes to go.
But that's what I'm saying. We need the striker.
Bruv.
If it's 2-2 with 10 minutes to go, we still need the striker to get the next goal.
For me,
it's both. It's both, bro. It's a player issue. And how much that player issue is down to Arteta and how much that player issue is down to Edu, I don't know. I'm hoping that Berta comes in
this time next year saying, "Oh, we just need a creative midfielder." Odegaard's not cutting it. They're gonna say, "Oh, we just need a left wing." Martinelli's not cutting it. We're just gonna keep saying, "We need."
It's true. We do
until you get over the line, bro. Like for me, I don't support Arsenal. I want Arteta to stay forever because I genuinely believe as long as Arteta's there, you'll never win a major trophy.
Nah, I don't think. I think he'll win a major.
What do you think he will win?
He can win a Prem.
You think he will win the Prem?
He can definitely win a
Prem. But I don't see that.
He can definitely
win next season.
Yeah.
You think?
I thought we'd win the Prem this season. I honestly think injuries is one of the biggest problems.
But next season, when City are at their best, like we've been seeing them in the last few weeks,
we'll see.
And Liverpool are the same Liverpool.
We'll see.
You're not going to be better. I don't think psychologically your team will recover from what just happened.
We'll see. I think we will. I think that if we manage the...
Why do I have higher standards for your club than you do?
When you say psychologically recover, we didn't get slapped. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we got...
No, but you crumbled.
I don't know if we crumbled. I don't think that's fair. We lost 2-1 against PSG.
Your best player missed the open goal. What was that because of? It wasn't down to lack of skill. It wasn't down to lack of ability.
I wouldn't say the team crumbled.
Okay, cool. Can we agree that your best player crumbled?
The best player, yes, but that best player has shown throughout his career the ability to come back. People thought,
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if it was somebody else, I would think that person not coming back.
Do you not think at some stage though your players are going to start looking and thinking, why are we not getting over the line? Do you not think that's going to happen?
You keep moving. Are we having one conversation or are you having 100 conversations?
No, because it leads back to my next point. Do you think that would happen?
No, only because there's a decent amount of fresh blood coming into the team. So obviously Saka is Saka. Rice is only a second season in the club. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's been there long enough to start dropping his head and thinking, oh, it's never going to happen.
Never is going to happen, but why isn't it happening? Do you not think that people are going to start questioning themselves at some stage or questioning each other?
I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that we've got enough good moments to rely on.
Part of me, I think we've got
enough good moments to rely on to not fall into that mental trap, in my opinion.
There's nothing I've seen of Arsenal that's shown me that they will fall into that trap. But I know what it's like to be a nearly team. I don't know personally because United's winners, but I know I've seen that Spurs dropper from going to the Champions League final to the next season. Look what happened to them. You would have thought finishing second against Chelsea that season where they were against Leicester, that they bounced back every season. Then they went to the Champions League final. They went to the FA Cup, I think, semi-final. They were Carabao final. They kept, and then all of a sudden they went from that to a nearly team.
Listen, Arsenal are not the level of Man United and Liverpool in terms of history and winning trophies and stuff like that. But there's a chasm between us and Spurs. That's the reality. I can see if you're an outside person,
I don't necessarily agree with that.
You don't have to agree. That's my opinion. There's a difference. It's certainly in my lifetime, maybe if we're going back to the 60s, Spurs and them Dons, but in my lifetime, there's a clear difference in bottle and mentality between us and Spurs, in my opinion. The reason that people are making these comparisons is because, yes, this team's young and fresh, and we've got a young Spanish manager, and it heavily looks like the Spurs team under Pochettino. So it's very, very similar. So I do see those comparisons. But in the last 20 years, we go over the line much more than Spurs. Not enough, but there's a different. It's lazy analysis to say there's Man United and Liverpool, and then there's Arsenal and Spurs. It's not that.
Is it fair to say though? Is it fair to say? Because I want Arteta to stay. I genuinely believe that Arteta is your Gareth Southgate.
He might be the guy before the guy. Like I say, next year will be his last year, regardless, in my opinion.
But why?
Why what?
Why? If you had full confidence in him, you shouldn't even say next
year. But there's got to be some sort of timeline, even if you've got...
So I'm just starting to feel a bit 50-50 about him.
No, it's how much of a structure is behind you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are lots of... Obviously, we needed a striker. We've got Havertz, 65 mil. Most people that analyse football and watch football would say that first of all, Havertz isn't a striker.
No, he didn't even buy him to be a striker.
He didn't buy him to be a striker. Then we had Marino, who came in to replace them because of injuries, and he's done okay, but again, wasn't bought as a striker.
He also sold Elia and Nketiah. He is a striker.
Yeah, but we had two strikers. They both got injured, but we did have two people that could play striker. So it's not like...
Do you think if you had a striker, you would have won that game?
Yes.
Bruv. You smoke budge, fam.
Well, I'm pretty confident.
You smoke budge, bro.
I'm pretty confident.
I think Saka epitomizes your team, and I think you put any other person in that position, they still miss that open goal. Because it's a psychological thing,
I don't think so. I don't think you can say that.
I think you put anyone in that position, they would have missed that open goal.
I think if you're talking about anyone, including Declan Rice, I think that's unfair after the 2 free kicks he banged.
Declan Rice is the only one.
So not anyone.
But you know why? Because he hasn't been toxic. He hasn't been infected by the toxins within that club yet.
Has Marino been infected by the toxins of the club?
It's difficult to say because he only came in January.
That's what I was going to say.
He only came in January, so no, he hasn't.
Okay.
He hasn't been.
Has Calafiori been infected by the
toxins? He hasn't. Please, I don't think he's a good player, so I don't think it makes a difference. Okay. I'm talking about the ceiling of your players. The players that's going to win. A left back ain't going to win you a trophy.
Yeah.
A striker, a winger will, a holding midfielder will. Rice, I think Rice, and I even said this, when people are saying Saka's your best player, I'm like, nah, bro, Rice is your best player, bro.
Saka's our best attacker.
He's your best attacker. Yeah. You know what I say all the time, I feel you can never have an attacker be your best player. Yeah. Your best player has to be someone who touches the ball constantly, who's constantly involved in the game. But I actually like Saka as well, that's the worst thing. I was so upset when he missed that penalty against Real Madrid, and I was so upset when he missed the open goal. Because I was like, bro, I just want to support this guy, bro. I want to support
black business.
Literally, but he just keeps flopping. But yeah, man.
And then we're shooting this on Thursday, we're likely to have a Spurs Man United final.
They're going to get brushed, bro. They're going to get brushed. Spurs, bro. They're going to get... Like, I'm not even nervous about that game. We're just going to bruck them up, bro.
I don't even know who... You know what the worst thing is, yeah?
Who do you want to win the game?
It's obvious who I want to win the game. Are you mad? Are you mad? That's what I'm about to say, bro. It's put me in a position where I have to root for Man United, bro. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close, bruv. Man are asking me who, bro, a few people have asked me who would I rather win. Are you mad? Spurs. Win a European trophy.
It's mad though, isn't it?
Bro. And you, man are sly shit. Like, you man could just bug out on any given day. Nah. You man are a better team than Spurs. You are a far better team not far. You are a better team than Spurs, yeah.
No, but
and you've got better pedigree, you've got better experience. Bro, you do. But on your day, yeah, you man bug out on any given day.
That's true. But here's the thing. When it comes to the cup final, I can count on Spurs getting it wrong.
I
can count on Spurs getting it wrong. Like
Not just getting it wrong, but like you guys have beat like a very good Man City team in recent years in the FA Cup finals.
Stop them from winning it back to back, innit?
Yeah.
But we'll do it, bro. We'll do it.
You'd expect it. If you had £1 million and you had to bet it, you'd bet it on Manchester United. But you just never know,
bro.
I just never know. Like.
I slightly feel like Spurs feel like they're gonna lose as well. Like I just feel like Spurs are gonna lose.
It's the expectation. It's the script. It's the script. It's scripted.
When we played Spurs in the league, we played so shit. They beat us twice in the league. They beat us twice. I'm like, bruv, I don't know what's going on. But the ceiling that I've seen United play, like that United team that played Liverpool, or that United team that played City, or that United team that played Arsenal. Even the first game when you scored a set piece against us, that level of United, that United team that we saw play against Lyon for just that 10 minutes. Bro, if we have 10 minutes of that, we'll pause, but we'll blow Spurs out the water. That high line, you might have brushed them.
The thing is with United, you feel like a lot of your players are playing for their careers, like, and their futures.
Fact.
Like, if you man were to lose 3 or 4-0, like, embarrassingly, some of the man are gone.
Fact.
Some of the manager's probably gone. Some of the players are gone. Man, like, Ruben Amarin's staying, but if you man lost in an embarrassing way in the final, like, a lot of man have gone.
A lot of them are already gone anyway.
Whereas, if Spurs were to lose 4-0, who's going? Like, who's getting sacrificed? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's like, maybe the manager might lose his job because of the league position and stuff, and this is it. For the manager, it's intense. He desperate. But, like, they're not selling Solanke if they lose. They're not selling Bergvall, or they're not selling Son. They're not selling Kulusevski if they lose. Like, what's the what's the fallout of them losing?
Yeah, if we lose, Casemiro's gone for one.
Yeah.
Bro, maybe the next might be gone. I don't think Bruno, but
big offers coming from Saudi for him, apparently.
Bro, you might be right, but I know a lot. But we're already getting rid of
no Champions League football. Maybe Amarin gone.
We'll get rid of a lot of players, bro.
There could be a lot of change, bro. Garnacho. That's what I mean. So that's where I feel like. But yeah, I'm now in the precarious position of having to cross my fingers and toes for a Man United win, which is just horrible.
I swear to God, and I say this on everything I own. You know, if it wasn't United in the final, if it was any other team in the final, I would have wanted Spurs to win. If it was any other team you know why? Just to see us. To
see us have such a good period, like second and Champions League, and then see Spurs win a European like, and with a shit league campaign as well. Not even like they've been good in the league and they're just a bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
I swear, it could have been Spurs versus any team. I don't even care. It could have been my team. I would have still wanted Spurs to win.
We're gonna be live. We gotta go live for that. Nah, we gotta go live for that, bro. Come on, don't do this. Bro.
If we do,
no, we gotta go live.
Have to change the location
to where?
Because, bruv, I've got everybody in my family supports Spurs. Everyone in my family supports Spurs.
So you saying you want to do live from your house?
I might have to, bro.
We've got to go live for that.
We've got to
go live for that.
Everybody in my family supports Spurs.
We've got to go live for that game.
Everybody in my family supports Spurs. So
you said we're going all in on YouTube for the next.
Yeah, cool, but it doesn't mean, bro. Doesn't mean that bro. I have to be around Spurs fans. I have to create an environment. You can't be around no Spurs fans.
We might have to do a watch party at Shane's house for the final.
We might have to do something.
Are we live? We got to tell them. Are we live?
We're live
for the final. We're live for the final. But you know what? A couple of your fans have said to me that they're actually nervous about you man bugging out against Bilbao.
Never. I told you we will win 3-0.
You did.
I did say last week on the show we will win 3-0 even though we were away from home.
Yeah, you did.
I can't, bro. We're gonna lose today though. We're gonna lose today. But we won't lose. Bro, they got to score 4 goals at OT and us score none.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. It's not happening.
Yeah. Just an honour, though.
If
they score in the first 10 minutes, it's excitement. Because then it's like, do you know what I mean?
We'll score.
You lot better win,
bro. They ain't got no Vivian as well at centre-back, bro. We'll score, bro. We'll score.
And what's the score with Spurs?
Spurs are 3-1 at Boulder Glimt.
Yeah, Spurs are beating, but
you know, you never know, bro. Bro, Boulder Glimt.
I hope Boulder Glimt, bro.
I hope Boulder Glimt win as well.
100%.
I hope Boulder Glimt win
100%.
Bro, do you know the banter to bro? I swear that would be the biggest bottle of it. I spoke to my cousin who's a Spurs fan. Yeah, he's like, bro, we have to sack him at half time.
Yeah.
Even if
Boulder Glimt to win like 3-0. It's like half time.
You have to sack him at half time.
Yeah, 100%.
Just subbing the next manager, bro.
100%. Yeah, nah, it's disgusting, man. It's painful for Arsenal. Like all in the same week. Like they didn't even let us breathe. They didn't even let us grieve. They didn't let us grieve our loss. Like it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Your gal has broken up with you and she's on Snap going crazy the same night.
Spurs and Chelsea win a trophy and you don't win shit.
And they've been shit. And we've been good. Like to be fair, we haven't been good, but they've been so bad.
And they still win a trophy.
And actually, it's like, I guess like that's part of the Arsenal mentality thing that people talk about, is that like you don't necessarily have to be good to win a trophy. Arsenal have been good for 3 years with no trophy. We might have actually been able to win a trophy if we weren't so good, but weren't so focused on the league. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if there's like a
spread yourself thin,
spread ourselves very thin. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, the team that won the FA Cup finished 8th. The Arsenal team that won the FA Cup finished 8th, which is a prime example of what you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? So that is, again, part of that managerial experience. I do feel that Arteta's getting better. I even feel like if Arteta leaves at the end of next season, there is a world where we go on to win trophies, but he goes on to be a successful manager somewhere else and takes this experience. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just one of them annoying things where it just might not work out for the pairing of you guys together, because like I say, he's a first-time manager and he's learning, but the squad, a lot of it comes down to the squad. This is a squad that most of the squad now he's built. It's his squad. But I think by the time next summer comes...
what saved him this season is the injuries. Yeah. That's what saved him.
That's my team.
Injuries,
that's my team. If you
didn't have injuries and didn't win a trophy...
If you wanted to sack Arteta, if you want Arteta out, guy, last season Arteta out makes sense. This season Arteta out makes less sense. He's had loads of injuries to come second.
If he didn't have the injuries this season and he didn't win a trophy... I agree. If Arsenal fans weren't saying sack him, I would have been disappointed.
I agree. And it's not sack him like I hate him. I think he's great. I think he's got huge potential, but it's clearly something's not working out.
Yeah, facts.
We got to look at something else. So that's what it is. But yeah, man, Spurs, we're not live for the semi-finals. That's tonight, but we'll be live for the final, probably some type of watch party or something like that. We've got to figure something out.
Yeah, facts.
That's all for football, man. I didn't want to talk about football, bro. Bro, it's so bad. I Googled, I asked ChatGPT, like, who's the NBA equivalent of, I was chatting to my boy Lex, who's the NBA equivalent of Arsenal? And they said Chicago Bulls. And I said, fuck it, I'll just start watching Chicago Bulls.
How?
Like, I don't know, bro. They said that they're like, they used to win trophies. They're like almost nearly there, but they get quite a lot of like major injuries that kind of shag them. I don't know, and I'm not an NBA guy, but bro, I was on Google looking for other sports to watch, bro. I was on Google looking for other sports. I was like, bro, this is I can't watch football no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like on the weekend. I'll just be vexed if we go and we're playing Liverpool. Like if we go and beat Liverpool 3-0, because they've down tools, isn't it? We go beat Liverpool 3-1. And they're just like, lol, like we've already won the league and this means nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't care. Like it's just like, bro, this is just like, who cares now?
You know what? If you lose, it gives your fans a reason to complain, innit?
Saka cut in and bang top bins. It's like, bro, why? Like, why now? Like, do you see the save from Donnarumma?
That was a bad boy,
bro. Donnarumma was on gear last night, bro.
Peak still, because the last 4 Champions League games you played, Courtois and Donnarumma, it's been on fire still.
Yeah. Courtois got smoked. He got slapped by Rice, but still. But
yeah, he still had a good game though.
Donnarumma was on budge, bro. He was just moving crazy, bro. He was on gear, man.
Facts.
But yeah, listen, I still think Saka had a reasonable performance, a very good performance. But it is what it is. He did miss the open goal, so I guess listen. On to boxing news, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what this channel's all about, bro. We have to stop doing football content.
That's a lie. Till we win, till the end.
Pac-Man returns. The return of the Pac-Man.
For me, the WBC, I don't know why I'm surprised, but the WBC, this belt right here that you see, where's Mauricio Sullivan's dad? He's
on the far left, he's on the far left.
He's just looking down at Mauricio Sullivan like a flipping prostitute.
He said he's spinning in his grave like a Beyblade.
This guy's just a high-paid prosy, bro. He's a
disgrace. Mauricio Sullivan's a disgrace.
How do you sanction a man to fight for the welterweight championship who hasn't fought in 4 years and is coming off a loss? Bro, how is this guy? He's 45.
I was going to say, how old is he? 45, yeah.
He's 45 and he's coming off a loss.
Conor Ben's probably licking his lips thinking, Conor Ben's probably wants that fight if
well, I don't even know who he wins. Like, the maddest thing is, we watched Barrios' last fight he could have flipping lost it as well, bro.
Yeah.
So, bro, there's actually a way in which Barrios could flipping lose.
If Barrios was to lose, everyone would see Pacquiao as food.
100, but Bro, I don't even understand how that's being sanctioned, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is just ridiculous.
Badu Jack's still getting sanctioned, and how old is he? 40, 40,
He's probably
42?
in his 40s. He's a WBC champion as well. Where's
Yeah.
his flipping pension scheme or something, bro? He got bare old man fighting for the belt, bro.
41, he turns 42 this year.
That's my point, bro. I don't know, bro. The WBC are a disgrace, bro. You had the decency to strip Bivol, and you literally are allowing a man in flipping Pacquiao to come out 4 years out of the ring and fight for your belt. It's
4 years out of the ring is retirement. Even if you haven't officially announced you are retired, you're retired. 4 years out of the ring.
And you're coming off a loss as well, bro. You're coming off a loss, bro.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It is disgusting, bro. And I don't even, for me, the reason why I didn't bring it up to you before, because I was just hoping it was just, you know, them speculation, Floyd's back. You know what I'm saying? You always hear these people say people are back. But no, bro, it's actually next. It's actually next, bro.
And the amount of people that he's leapfrogging to get this world title shot. Because there are people that have wins in the division.
There's people that's actually fighting.
Yeah, there's people that are actively fighting and people that are coming off of wins. And you are not actively fighting and coming off of a loss.
Facts.
But for whatever, because of your relationship with the WBC,
I think you can just the money man.
And because you're the money guy. But how much is he the money guy though? Pacquiao's been the money guy in the past, but
bro, Mauricio Sulaimán's a prostitute, bro. So it doesn't.
Does Pacquiao sell today? Does he sell out more than who's a welterweight?
I mean, to be fair, Barrios was just looking for someone to sell the belt to because he was gonna fight Conor Ben and he's just gonna sell it to him. Like he's literally just looking. Whoever's gonna pay to buy this belt, that's literally who I'm gonna do. Because, like, unfortunately, I don't know how Boots hasn't managed to get a belt there. I mean, you've got Ryan and Devin who now have just moved to the weight class. I'm just thinking of bigger names. Ryan and Devin's there. You got Boots there. You got. In terms of 147. Names, 147, yeah. I'm thinking of big names at 147. That's pretty much it, bro. Like
Tia? Or is Tia
Tia's still at 40. I don't think he's moving up yet.
Tia said he wants Boots though.
That's what I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He wants Boots. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what. I mean, he's still saying he's the Ring Magazine champion, but he's maybe he will fight Boots.
I'm confused as to how Pacquiao is still the money name with all those names in the mix.
Well, the truth is, Conor Ben is probably the money fighter at that division. Conor Ben or Boots is probably the money fighter at that division.
Yeah.
Conor Ben, if I was Conor Ben, I would be, as you said, I would have been looking at that fight like, bro, I could actually win a world title, bro. Like, legitimately as well.
After the Chris Eubank fight, that's what we're saying. How does he maneuver himself to get world titles?
Bro, if Pacquiao can do it, the thing is though, Pacquiao's probably he's probably unfortunately legally bounded to the rematch with Chris Eubank. So he can't even...
Conor Ben, you mean?
Conor Ben, you can't even go into the back. Because if I was him, I'd be like, nah, bro, I want the winner. I want the winner of Barrios versus Pacquiao.
That can still happen, though. When's the fight?
What?
Barrios Pacquiao.
No, it's when the Chris Eubank fight is. The problem is, bro, whenever Boots is like, he's got a mandatory, I think he's got a fight at mandatory. The moment Boots fights his mandatory, he's going straight after the WBC. He wants all the belts. The moment Boots gets it, you lot now just have to wait. So there's a small window of time from when Boots tries to fight for that belt and when Boots, Devin, Ryan, or whoever comes out at the top tier, when they try to, because they're not going to go down the Boots route. They're going to try and get a belt before, and the easiest belt is Barrios or Pacquiao.
Yeah.
So what you will find is either a Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, one of them will try, well not Ryan, but maybe a Devin, one of them will try and position themselves for that belt before Boots comes through. And if that's the case, that gives Conor Ben a small window of time, and you really want to be fighting Barrios or Pacquiao instead of a Devin Haney or Rolly Romero for it. Rolly might want it, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Rolly don't want anything. He just Rolly's the most chill person in boxing. Like, he won and he didn't even care.
He didn't care.
He was happy just to upset the show.
100. He's like, bro, you can still fight.
It's funny with this Turkey guy because he pays man a lot of money and none of them seem to like him, like as an individual.
I hear you.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you've seen Shakur Stevenson. Turkey's given him one or two of his biggest paydays ever. Shakur was cussing him on Twitter.
One.
He's giving him his biggest payday ever. Shakur's cussing him. We gave Rolly Romero probably his biggest payday after Tank maybe, but he's there like, I was just happy to ruin the show.
Trust me,
this guy's got no actual.
Turkey's a trick.
He's got no 100%, 100%, bro. He must have no charisma, no charm, no nothing. Like I do feel like there's a slight culture difference. I spoke about it before between the Arabs and the Americans. There's a big culture difference there.
Like the whole fact of him holding Terence Crawford's hand. I was like, yo, you must not know who Terence Crawford is, bro. And this, boy, let's segue into it because fam,
do you want to talk?
He was in the comment section just going nuts. He was in the is it Sino 7?
Sino 7 was defending him. It was a deal. A deal.
Oh my days.
A deal was moving crazy.
Bruv. And in a name like a deal, you need to be careful because he probably sound like he come from one of them.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you want to introduce? Do you want to explain to the people them or?
For me, the truth is,
I was one that told you, innit? You hadn't heard it.
Yeah. The truth is, for those who don't know, we actually had a whole video speaking about Turkey. And on the weekend, it's probably out already. And obviously, if you watch the live streams, you're bantering this guy, but it's actually like the comments that we're referring to is the black comments. And
well, tell them what the comment is.
He said heavyweight boxing was better when we had a black champion.
Yeah. No, he said he feels that boxing is better when there is a black heavyweight champion. And then it started a whole discussion in our chat because me and Shane were talking about how wild that comment is, and some people in the comment section said it's not wild. Like they felt that he was trying to pay a compliment, but like the thing is, whether you're trying to pay a compliment or not, there's a certain level of ignorance that goes to that comment. There's a few black men sitting here. First of all, it just doesn't actually make any sense.
Facts.
That's the first thing.
Can I dispel why it doesn't make sense?
Go on.
Because we had Bermane Stiverne as a world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
We had Deontay Wilder as a world heavyweight champion. We also had Anthony Joshua as a heavyweight champion. Was boxing better when those guys are heavyweight? No, they weren't, because they weren't the best.
Currently, Dubois is a world heavyweight champion.
Currently, Dubois is a heavyweight world champion. So also,
it's actually only been a very small, narrow window when we haven't had a black heavyweight champion.
Of course,
just when
Klitschko era.
Also when Usyk was undisputed.
We was only undisputed for a couple of months.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In the time that Turkey's come into boxing, we've only not had a black heavyweight champion for a couple of months.
So firstly, factually, your statement is incorrect.
And in those 2 months, boxing didn't slow down, or it wasn't really bad.
Also, you said boxing would be better if we had a black heavyweight champion. Well, we have one now. So is boxing better? You know what I'm saying? It's a weird. And also, why I don't like the statement, and I want to say this straight. I love racist jokes. I'm not one of them thin-skinned, sensitive Americans who think everything's racist.
Yeah.
It's actually not that.
Yeah.
I actually feel like the statement was so incorrect. The reason why the statement was so incorrect is because, firstly, bro, what he meant to say was I preferred boxing back in the days with the Mike Tyson.
We don't know that that's what he meant to say.
Wait, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that's it.
Before you land that point, this is the problem. In our chat, there were about 20 man all trying to help him and paraphrase what it is that he meant to say, but we don't know that that's what he meant to say.
Bro, the reason why I have an issue with that is because the only defense is, because people are saying it's a language barrier, what he meant to say was when it was back in the day, but the issue was, the takeaway was that they were black. You didn't say, I preferred it when we had smaller heavyweights or more skilled heavyweights. The takeaway was tougher heavyweights or
American heavyweights or loud heavyweights. Or why was black
the first thing that you used? You didn't say outspoken. You didn't say guys from the tough backgrounds. You said black. Why was black the only takeaway that you had?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it American? Why wasn't it outspoken? Why wasn't it boisterous? Why wasn't that the word you used?
That's only if that's what
he meant.
That's what he meant. And we do not know that's what he meant. Now, the thing that strikes me as odd with Turkey, and I don't want to offend anyone. Listen, I'm from West London. Enough of my brethren are Arabic or from the Middle East and stuff like that. I've traveled the Middle East. I love the Middle East. Shane's traveled the Middle East. Well, he didn't really like it. I love the Middle East. I'm there regularly. what we often see in these situations is someone pulling the strings, and there are other people pulling the strings, and I know Turkey's the front man, but it seems weird to me to have a front man that has these types of language barriers. That's odd to me. If you are going to have a front man, the point of the front man is that you don't have the miscommunication. That's part of why he partnered with Eddie in the first place, because when he first was moving into boxing, Turkey didn't talk. Turkey paid money and Eddie talked. And Eddie would say, I just got off the phone to Turkey and here's what he said. And Eddie would promote the show. Frank came a little bit later, but at first it was just Eddie. And then Frank came in, because Frank doesn't really do the talking for him. Frank's kind of miserable. He'll say the fight's on and stuff, but Eddie was doing the PR for Turkey. Yeah. When everybody was excited about Turkey coming into boxing, it's partly because Eddie was selling everyone on the idea of this guy coming in. Remember what Eddie was saying? This guy's a boxing fan. We're looking at him and thinking, might see some dodgy decisions, might see some people getting robbed on the cards. We're not sure. Look at William Skull. Canelo's already been announced for his next fight with Bud. There's some things here we're not sure about. When he first came in, Eddie was saying, listen, trust this guy. He's a fan of boxing. Eddie was doing all the PR for him. This, to me, it's not a big PR nightmare because money talks, innit? But it's a bit weird to me. It's a bit weird to me to have a front man who's going to have these types of miscommunication.
No, but bro, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way at all. I feel like Turkey has literally bought people's integrity and values to the point where he feels like he can say whatever he wants and get away with it.
The presenters, to be fair to them, obviously it was on American TV as well. So and obviously America, we know, have very different race relations to Britain. We have very similar problems, but very different at the same time, right? You'd only understand it if you spent time in America and in England, see the differences. But the promoters, the presenters looked like terrified. They looked like they were going to get sacked. They were sitting there like, they were trying to nod, but their faces were saying like, they wanted to say, what do you mean by that? But they weren't really...
This is the thing. If Turkey came on this couch right now, and he said what he said, there is no way
we wouldn't question.
There's no way we won't. Even if we agreed. 100%. Because the truth is, my dad would probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. I'm just keeping it real. Yeah. But the truth is,
but coming from your dad is different.
100%.
It means something different coming from
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You're 1,000,000% right.
They're two totally different things.
But for me, the fact that he can say it and he in himself believes that no one can afford to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you come into my yard and say, you know what? If you say whatever you want, and there's no repercussions, then you in your mind think, cool. It is what, isn't it? I can say what I want. Bro, it's a big line, but in theory, there's not a far line between him being a flipping Turkey and what Turkey said and being a Teo and saying what Teo says.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At this stage, bro, and for me, I'm not even offended by it. But it's not offensive. It's also just kind of reveals how you are as a person.
It's genuinely more confusing than it is. Like I say, for me, the confusion is we've sat here and tried to pick apart and decipher what it is that he means. And the weirdest thing for me is that there's something that I praise Eddie for, is how he molds himself to different cultures.
Facts.
And Turkey and the guys in the Middle East, period, are not very moldable.
Facts.
To other. That's the whole thing of them doing this whole Saudi thing with football, whatever, trying to promote the country, is because they're typically not very moldable to other people's cultures in the first place. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go to Saudi and watch boxing, you ain't going to be able to drink, you ain't going to be able to gamble, you're not going to be able to hit the strip club. It's a very different week or weekend experience than it is to go to Vegas or to go to New York or to come to London. It's a totally different experience. And different experiences are fine. They're totally fine, but there is definitely a cultural difference. Do you know what I'm saying? And boxing is going to have to see, do we go with money? Do we go with culture? What are you going to do? And in all things, it's going to be split. Do you know what I mean? Saka right now is not leaving Arsenal to go to Saudi, but John Duran would, and that's fine. That's fine for him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be split. Some man will go for the money, some man will go for the legacy, some man will sign with Al Heyman, some man, do you know what I'm saying? But like I say, the thing for me is not offense. I'm not sensitive. I'm not offended. It's just confusion. I would like to know what he meant by that. But like you say, because he's the big dog and he's paid for everyone's tickets, but the presenters can't even really question it.
We might get cancelled for this. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say it.
Nah, fuck it, go on.
I actually start to think white people in general, generally don't have like, they just care about money. Let me tell you why.
Why white people specifically?
Let me tell you why,
Okay.
Because for me, in my mind, like Frank and Eddie are already rich. There's no need for you to be on your knees sucking like this.
How many rich people do you know?
What do you consider rich?
Multi-millionaire.
Not many still.
Every multi-millionaire I know is currently working on their next million. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody.
Nah, bro, but are they on their knees doing it, bro? Are they on their knees doing it? How much?
Maybe not publicly, maybe privately.
Bro, for me,
all rich people want is more money.
No, but
regardless of race.
I don't. This is the difference, and maybe it is a cultural thing, and I don't even know why we're having a discussion on this channel. But one thing I know is when in like our culture, when black people get money, they instantly feel like they're more powerful than people, so no one can't chat to them.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It depends.
Even if a black person makes 100 grand, they feel like no one can chat to them.
Hold on a second. When you've got, sit back, you're looking too intense. Sit back on the, just sit back. When you had the BLM stuff happening, you had like the NFL. In the NFL, they make millions, but they still got a white owner that tells them what they can and can't say.
Okay, cool.
Do you know what I'm saying? So they might think they're more powerful than us, but they still got a white man telling them what's what.
Look at Al Heyman. Al Heyman is the only person who hasn't played ball with.
That's because of his business. That's because of his. He's the
only business. He's a person. Every other, they're all rich, you know. They're all rich. Every single one of them are rich, but the only person who's not sucking off turkey right now is Al Heyman. Why do you not feel like that's a cultural thing? The only fighter that's not playing ball with turkey right now is Tank. Do you not think that's a cultural thing?
No, because there's mad black Americans that are sucking off turkey, so that goes against.
I don't know any. They might like turkey. In fact, I'm lying. Bill Haney. Oh my gosh. I can't lie. Bill Haney, still this guy's doing a great turkey push right now. But
he's based in the turkey, blood. He's moving crazy. But no, I don't. I know the direction you're coming from. I think that it depends.
If you're that rich,
Al Heyman's. I don't think it's about being rich. It's about their particular business interests. Does Eddie Hearn look at his stable right now? Does Eddie Hearn make more money with turkey or alone?
With turkey.
Okay. Does Al Heyman, based on his business model and the way they do their in-house fights and stuff like that, based on his business model, does he make more money with turkey or on his own? Right now, at this moment?
Obviously, with Al Heyman.
Yeah.
By himself.
By himself. So it's a business interest. He's picked the most money.
No, but here's the thing though.
When that changes, he'll go over there.
I don't know about that.
We'll have to see.
Here's the thing with Eddie though. The difference with Eddie was when Eddie was making more money by himself, he still decided to sign with Turkey. So that's
to make more money.
But bro, at some stage you gotta have some self-respect.
No, not in business. These men just want to make the most money.
So you're gonna.
I'm not talking about me. I'm just talking about these.
But you're a businessman, bro. Are you gonna do it?
Not like
I have to say this publicly in front of our viewers. If we ever make it to a certain degree, you're gonna be on your knees sucking off Turkey as well.
Not.
I just have to.
No.
Because bro, it's a black heavyweight, bro. You're not far from heavyweight.
You're gonna make me talk crazy. Don't make me talk crazy now. We just started to get membership. We just started to get memberships. Don't make me talk crazy on the show. Don't make me do that.
I'm just saying. You know, holding hands
off the stream. You know who I am. So don't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? But no, I don't think cultural thing. I think it's maybe more of an American thing, to be honest, than a black and white thing. I think Americans like isolationism.
True.
They like, we are American at the top. We're not having someone come and tell us what's what. And the fact that the person coming to tell them what's what is Arabic, it's not even someone, it's someone that Americans broadly are not familiar with and comfortable with culturally, but also it's not even someone that's bringing boxing heritage. If it was someone that was white and English and some Americans are bought into that kind of England is, that kind of
house of boxing,
the house of boxing culture, whatever, that they might feel a bit differently if it was a super rich English businessman that was, but all of these different nuances, I think that's where there's a situation, because I know a lot of black men that sell out when it comes to money.
Of course.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to sit on this show and say...
No, but the thing is, I'm talking about in boxing specifically. That's not normally a thing that you see culturally around black fighters.
Yeah, I get that. But, black American fighters come from big fight cities where they can be multi-millionaires and not leave town.
Like Tank.
And Boots.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like they can be multi-million and Latin fighters the same.
But look at you can't say that the biggest one just went over there, bro.
I understand. Didn't say they don't. I said they can. They can make millions. Canelo Alvarez can make millions and millions and live in Vegas and never leave Vegas.
But you just brought up a great point. Boots and Tank have categorically turned down Turkey deals.
Yeah.
They're the only two fighters in boxing to do that.
Yep.
Is it a coincidence that they both come from? True, they both come from fights.
But they both have very, very, very strong fan bases
in their own.
And so the money that he's offering them is more than what they make at home, but it's not 10x. It might be 5x.
But look at
if you're someone,
look at Ben and Eubank. Look at Ben and Eubank. This fight was in England, and they still went and done it. You're telling me if they didn't have Turkey, they wouldn't have been able to make that fight.
No, of course they would. Yeah.
But why did Turkey have to get involved? Because I'm telling you, bro. These men are
But Turkey's paying them more.
Yeah.
Turkey's going to pay them a lot more.
But you have to sacrifice, bro. I'm telling you, I don't want to sound like Cat Williams. You gotta sacrifice that virgin role.
Okay, if you're Conor Benn, what did Conor Benn sacrifice for that fight? Because remember, Conor Benn before this was a British level.
In Conor Benn's defense, he personally didn't have to do anything.
That's what I'm saying. But there's a lot of fighters. There's some people that are sucking off Turkey, but there's a lot of fighters. The Josh Padley's that he's benefiting massively.
Yeah,
Conor Benn benefiting massively.
I don't mean the rich people like Eddie and Frank. Them men are rich, bro. Oscar is rich, bruv. You're not supposed to be sucking off Turkey like this.
The one thing colonizers love is other colonizers, bro. They all speak the same language.
Boy.
Do you know what I'm saying?
The slurpage is mad right now, bro. It's borderline getting.
Deontay Wilder was attacking AJ for saying like you signed with a white man and all this kind of stuff, and then Deontay Wilder went and. Do you know what I'm saying?
Bro, maybe we're different, innit?
There's a couple man that's different, but I don't know. It depends on your personal situation. Turkey's helped build a lot of fighters that didn't have a lot of build, but then he's doing other stuff. He's doing some good stuff, but he's doing some bad stuff as well.
I hear that, but fam, every other time when somebody does something bad, they get called out for it. Turkey doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's
he gets called out on this channel. He gets called out on this channel.
How big is
Do you know what I'm saying?
In comparison to the world of boxing, bro, he might shoot us, bro.
Shoot who?
Us.
He shoot me in the Middle East, not in London. I got more guns than him here. In London. You're mad.
Bro, them man got paper, you know? Them man got paper, fam. But them man can buy a whole block,
probably pay another black man to come and shoot you.
Yeah, just
seriously, you know that there. You trust black people though. You trust them.
So who do you trust?
I don't trust nobody. You trust them.
All you need to do is just get a blood white thing in there that I don't let
nobody walk more than 5 paces behind me or less than 5 paces behind me, bro.
Make sure you don't eat food around y'all soon, innit? You eat at Arab restaurants.
I do eat at a lot of
Arab restaurants. And then they poison your food and you're bro, you can't say nothing.
I know a little bit of Arabic.
I only eat yard food, so
that's where they're gonna get you. Say no more. You're gonna go into one yard shop with good customer service. You're gonna know something suspicious is happening. Something suspicious is happening here. But yeah, listen. Like I say, bro, we call them out. I see on TalkSport they were saying that the fights were lackluster. And I don't think you can blame the environment. The fighters just under-delivered. I was like, that's bullshit. 100% is part of the environment. That's why the Champions League is the Champions League. That's why the Europa League is the Europa League. That's why the FA Cup Final was the FA Cup Final. That's why you play at Wembley.
You don't pay someone for a fight that they may not have.
Yeah.
You've offered Ryan and Devin. You've done a whole promotion for Ryan and Devin before they even had their fight. You done a whole promotion for Canelo before he even done his fight.
60,000 fans at home in London is different to 500 celebrities in New York. It's two different like the way TalkSport were talking about it was like, it's all the fighters' fault.
Is there no coincidence that Rolly, Teofimo Lopez put on the best performances and their next fight wasn't announced?
Yeah.
There's no coincidence. The 3 people who had their fights announced, they had the worst performances.
That's a good point.
Was that all? Well,
100%.
If I know I got 100 million, I ain't taking no risk, bro. I ain't taking no risk.
100%. Why would I?
Why would I?
Why would I?
I got Terrence Crawford down the line. I got this guy running around the ring. You know what, Barney, give me my money, star.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally how I'm looking at it. It's the same thing with Devin.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I got Ryan
William
Garcia.
Skull had a fight announced next, which he maybe had a handshake deal with Turkey. It's even worse, bruv.
Trust me.
Do you know what I'm saying? The fight's even worse, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? He's going to be on a reverse treadmill, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? This man are not going to get in.
Literally, like Devin literally thought, you know what? I want this Ryan fight. This guy's offering me a bag of bread. I'm not going to take no risk, get a cut, get hurt, get injured. The same thing Ryan. Ryan didn't throw no punches.
Yeah.
I'm not going to risk my money. But if he didn't offer him that money, we wouldn't be in this situation. You might see a more... If they had to fight to earn the right to fight each other, then we would have saw a better fight, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what we see in boxing. You fight final eliminators, you fight
This is why some of this UFC style, tournament style, some of the stuff don't work, bro. Boxing works the way it works for a reason. Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But yeah, we spoke about black heavyweights. There's one black heavyweight, maybe not the biggest. There's a conversation, maybe the biggest black heavyweight in the country at the moment. AJ, we're waiting for his return. He's got a mysterious injury. He was at the fight on Saturday in Saudi. Eddie had previously told us he had surgery on his elbow, but then he looked fine. Another Ben Whittaker situation.
Understand. Go on, continue.
Another Ben Whittaker situation where he looked fine, but then he was telling, I think Gareth Davis or something like that, he was saying that in the next few weeks he's going to get surgery on his elbow and he'll be recovering for a few months.
For lying. Why would you? Why? Because they're definitely chatting shit. Why are they chatting shit though?
You don't believe the injury is real?
No, I don't, bro.
I believe the injury is.
You believe the injury is real?
Nah, I don't believe it.
Bro, I genuinely...
He was there like, oh yeah, my elbows, man. Throwing his hands around, oh, my elbows.
Genuinely, what has this guy been doing to injure his elbow, bro? His knee should be injured for when he was skinning out in Wembley. That's what should be injured, bro. Man was on his head top. His neck should be injured, bro.
That's what beating his meat, bro. I don't know what he's doing.
What is he doing, bro? Bro.
It must be to avoid Daniel Dubois.
No, but Daniel Dubois' fight's already announced with Usyk, bro.
It would look suspicious if he immediately said, I'm sorry guys, I'm not injured. I've miraculously recovered from my elbow injury. Everything's fine now. Or maybe even to avoid the winner of that fight. It may even be that deep.
Bro, I don't know.
Because if AJ wants titles, it's got to be... The only people that people might want to... If AJ came back today, Tyson Fury's not back. If Tyson Fury was back at the same time, maybe there's a fight that some people might want to see. We can discuss that. But if AJ came back today, the only people would want to see him fight would be the two men that have beat him. No, but today would be Usyk or Dubois. Yeah. And they're the two men that have beat him.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
But at this stage, this is why I actually said I think AJ should just retire.
Yeah.
Because what are you motivated by?
Yeah.
Like, for me, you got some miraculous injury. That means when you, like, Eddie said he's only going to fight once. Cool. But who is that fight going to be? You're going to go for the winner of Usyk versus Dubois, but I don't really see the benefit of lying. I don't really see the benefit of just say, you know...
I don't think he wants the winner of Usyk and Dubois. I think that's why he would lie.
So if you don't want the winner of Usyk and Dubois, then what do you want?
He wants Tyson Fury.
But Tyson Fury is retired.
But I don't think I think Eddie has alluded to the fact that he believes that Tyson Fury is coming back. So you just feel
they're just waiting until Tyson Fury comes out?
I think so.
You think Tyson Fury and AJ have had a conversation behind closed doors?
I think maybe not Tyson Fury and AJ, but I think Eddie has a good enough read on Tyson Fury. I think Eddie at least believes that he believes that he understands Tyson Fury's psychology.
I think a lot comes down to, and this is what I do think. You could be right. This is what I do think. A lot comes down to Dubois and Usyk. Because I feel if Usyk beats Dubois, he's going to give up a lot of those belts. He's going to give up a lot of those belts. AJ's probably like, you know what?
AJ loves a vacant belt.
You know what I'm saying? It could be a case of Fury might even be thinking, you know what, bruv? Because it could be also a case if Dubois wins, they might hope Dubois wins and then they can go into a rematch with Dubois.
How much in this era of belts changing hands regularly, AJ versus Fury, in my opinion, is still a big fight in the UK. You might disagree.
It's a big fight. It's a big fight.
How much bigger is it if it's for a belt? If Usyk wins undisputed and then he's forced to vacate, as we know that they do, and then WBC...
It's not any bigger. You don't
think it's any bigger?
No bigger. Because I would have thought it was bigger, but after I saw what Eubank and
Ben did.
Ben done with no belt. It wasn't even sanctioned. Like, it wasn't even for.
Can we just agree that I told you that fight was going to be a big fight when it was first announced? I told you I was excited for that fight, and you were like,
Yeah, the promotion was amazing. The promotion was the best promotion I've seen in a long time for a fight. So it actually got me entertained. So 100%. Now, I don't think that AJ and Dubois, AJ and Fury's personalities are like Eubank is a guy who's very entertaining. Conor Benn's someone who's easy to hate.
They're big though. They're big guys, so they're more likely. The casuals are more likely.
I'm talking about for me.
Oh, for you, got you.
For me, I don't know if I'll buy into their story because for me,
they're both their stories are manufactured, but the Ben Eubank story is manufactured but built off something real.
Fact.
Whereas Fury AJ's manufactured, built off.
He's not it's a money grab.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel like both Frank, Eddie, AJ and Fury are crossing their fingers hoping the ball beats Usyk, bro.
Of course.
They're praying for that.
Of course.
So
is Turkey.
Literally, bro. Yeah, I'm saying. So my point is, if that's the case, they might as well just wait. So the injury is just to mask why AJ ain't going back in the ring. We're waiting until Usyk and Dubois fight, and whatever the outcome of that fight is, bro, because the system's backed against him, Usyk right now. 100%. Right now,
to be fair,
you might actually see a Dubois deliberate low blow, and then the ref will call it a knockdown. Like, literally, bro.
He's not smart enough to do that. he's actually not smart enough to do that. But yeah, like 100%. But the thing for Usyk is, it's been like that the whole time. He's not a knockout puncher. He doesn't speak English, or he didn't. He does now, but he didn't before. His English still isn't perfect. It's come a long way though, so no disrespect. But the boxing world has been against him this entire time. You're a small guy, you're a cruiserweight, your personality is like entertaining but a little bit different and edgy. He's not the stereotypical black American, I'm going to shout and scream and throw things. Do you know what I mean?
And he doesn't really represent a big fan base.
He doesn't represent a big fan base. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not...
He's not a villain neither. Like, he's not a villain. You got certain people that would sell as a villain, like a Mayweather or something.
100%. He's not any of those things.
Or a Tyson.
He's just a pure great boxer.
Fact.
And that's
a very hard sell.
That's a very hard sell. And that's why some of the man don't like him. There was Michael Thomas or something in our chat. He was getting mad, bro. He was hating him.
Man said, we were saying everyone's gonna beat him.
Everyone to beat him. Yeah, everyone to beat him.
Yeah,
he beat everyone, but everyone will beat him. That's that lot. I still think Michael Thomas is American. But
my man said he's English. I'm like, bro, you could never be English, trust me.
He's not. I know he's not English because his picture's a black man and he said English and not British. So he can't be English.
I wouldn't even say English. If someone asked me, I would say I'm Jamaican, bro.
I understand that, but if somebody was going to say British, they would say British, not English.
I wouldn't know still.
I think more black people would say they're British than English.
What have you referred to? You don't.
I say black British. I say I'm Jamaican, but black British.
Yeah,
my passport's British.
My passport's British, though.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not an English. I've not got an English passport. Do you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But there you go. Onlyfacts Sports episode 8 wrapped up. Yeah, boy, that injury. I don't know. But yeah, Turkey, like I say, the problem is, the last thing on this Turkey thing, even from a PR perspective, because if Dubois gets some bookie decision or some bookie knockdown, everyone's going to think it's suspicious because you've already stated
you want a black
champion. Why would you say? It's just dumb. It's just a dumb thing to say. It's just dumb. Why would you say that?
100%. Well, yeah.
Final thoughts for the people?
United's going to win the Europa League.
I knew you were going to say
Arteta out. No, Arteta in. Arteta in forever.
Arteta's winning the Premier League next year anyway, so. Peace and love.
You don't even believe that.
I do believe that.
You don't believe it.
I do believe that.
Or whatever.